Okay?
Think, don't smoke. That's a good way to make sure no one listens to your message, as is stated in the book. The smoking campaign. Everyone knows that smoking is bad, but why shouldn't we do it? You're not going to get the message to not do something by the Surgeons General telling you smoking is bad, children, and you are going to die if you smoke. People don't want to listen to that, especially smokers. Why is that? An anti-authority is a better way to get people to listen to you. In the book we read about the example of the smoker, and they used her as a campaign against smoking, how she developed a lung condition as a result of smoking from a very young age, and it eventually resulted in her death at a relatively young age. That is more powerful than just don't smoke. Just saying don't smoke is rather sterile. When you add in a personal story from someone who is a smoker or was, it makes it, first of all, more emotional, which we learned in our book was a good thing. It takes off the little analytical hat and makes you feel with emotion instead, which is, statistically speaking, although I'm not supposed to speak in statistics, more likely for people to listen to you. And it also provides a story, which is another aspect that was good in the book. So in our book, we also heard about the Don't Mess with Texas example and the littering campaign. And why was it so much more effective than the other anti-littering campaigns in other states? Because they took the time to think about who was littering and become an anti-authority for it. They developed what they thought was the typical litterer in Texas, and they named him Bubba, and they decided to use big macho men to convince these Bubbas not to litter. And it worked because they were people that they looked up to, and it wasn't so sterile like the Surgeons General message about don't smoke. So being an anti-authority is way more effective than just saying don't smoke or don't litter or don't do whatever, because it provides stories, emotion, and it also provides someone that you possibly look up to or relate to telling you not to do something, which is more effective. So, yeah.
Caitlin, you have a question? Or Lindsay, whoever has one. Do you have one?
Have you ever used an anti-authority before in any kind of argument you were making? Sorry.
Have I ever used an anti-authority argument before? Nothing really comes to mind, so to speak, right off the top of my head, but I've thought about making a YouTube video about depression and anxiety, and like you don't have to let it take over you and ruin your life, and that would be sort of an anti-authority if I decided to do that. So yes, I have not used an anti-authority before.
Can you think of, aside from the book's example about the woman dying of cancer, can you think of a present day commercial or celebrity figure who is an anti-authority on a topic? Someone who's saying, don't be like me and life will be better.
Can I think of a present day commercial that uses an anti-authority? Not off the top of my head, I can't. It should be used more because I can't think of one.
The book kind of talks about like the role of rebellion in anti-authority, so how do those relate?
Okay, how do rebellion and anti-authority relate? So people who are rebellious are probably not going to listen to what their doctor says or what their mom says. They're going to listen to their peers who are like them. So having a peer sort of speak to them will appeal to them more because they're not rebelling against their peers, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Okay.